guys, welcome to today's mukbang. So I have a lot of good food today. A bunch of desserts that I have been accumulating, people have been making and sending over, and oh my goodness, so many desserts. And then I really wanted, we made these cinnamon buns last week, but we didn't make cream cheese frosting, we just made like icing, and they were okay, but they really needed cream cheese frosting, so I made a big thing of cream cheese frosting to put on the cinnamon buns, so it's gonna be 10 out of 10, so good. And then I just added, I have a thing of cream cheese, so I'm gonna like dunk my cookies and dunk everything in this frosting. It's gonna be so good. And then I really wanted some fettuccine Alfredo, so we got some of that, some here, some biscuits, and we had some matzo sticks left over in our freezer. Got that all going today. This is gonna be so good. And today's story, I know you guys want a boy story. I hear you. I hear you. So today, it's not necessarily about a boyfriend or like a dating story, but today is gonna be about the time when I had to take somebody to HR for sexual harassment. Yeah, so it's gonna be juicy. I actually have the incident report on my computer that I sent to HR, so I do need a bit of a refresher at sometimes, and I might just literally read bits of what I put in the incident report just to make sure that I'm telling the story that happened. So, but yeah, today is gonna be about that. And then I do have a boyfriend story that I do want to also do, but that's gonna be in another video. So stay tuned in another video to hear about the time I dated the alcoholic. This is just coffee. Okay, I'm gonna start with the Alfredo because I cannot wait. Actually, I'm gonna start with a matzo stick before it gets too, look at that. Jalapeno matzo stick. Oh. Oh, that's good. Spicy. That's really good. Let's see if this one can do a cheese pull. That's insane. Let's try some of this fettuccine. We baked it after in the oven with cheese, so it should be real good. Oh, I love fettuccine. I think it's my favorite pasta. This or the, what's this spicy one called? Arrabbiata. That one's really good. It's really good. But yeah, we love mushrooms. That's amazing. Okay, so let's get into this story, because it might be a long one. So, my first job out of university was a personal trainer. I thought that was going to be my career because I love working out. I love fitness. At the time I was already prepping for a bikini bodybuilding show, and I'd already done 2 powerlifting competitions, so I was like, why have I not thought that a personal trainer would be like a career option before? Like, I didn't even think of it. And then I started doing personal training for Good Life, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be my career, like I'm set to go for life, you know? And you know, I actually really did like a lot about personal training, but there was a lot that I didn't like. It was just like constant hustle. You never made any money. You were at the gym from the moment it like opened pretty much until 8 p.m. So I was sometimes at the gym from like 5 a.m. till 9 p.m., 10 p.m. It was crazy, and I made maybe like $800 every 2 weeks. It was horrible. Like the pay sucked. On top of that, I was prepping for my own competition, so I had to do crazy amount of cardio, which I could barely fit in around my clients, and it was just horrible. So I think I made it like 3 or 4 months as a personal trainer, and then I had to stop doing it. It just killed my love for the gym. So after that, I was kind of in like a midlife crisis. I went through like a really sad period of time after that. I decided to use my degree in nutrition, and I worked in a long-term care home in nutrition. Absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. I think everyone was so depressed at their job, and they just made my experience very miserable. So I think after a few weeks of that, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't handle the mood, the atmosphere. It was horrible. So I quit, and I worked a couple different jobs in between, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked. And one job I started was in a factory. So I started working in, like I said, a factory. It was a factory that makes like bagels and baked goods, and I actually ended up on the Danish line. My friend worked there, so it was the two of us working at the factory. And it was enticing because I love working a lot. They were willing to give you as much overtime pretty much as you wanted. So they were 12-hour shifts, and you could work like 60, 72 hours a week, which I really liked because I like money. And after working at the gym, I had no money. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I can work like 60 hours a week, bank a bunch of money, and whatever. And the factory itself, at first wasn't too bad. Like, it was bearable, but it was horrible. Like, it was barely bearable. On the Danish line, I ended up making the cookies, the heart-shaped cookies that you see at McDonald's. So 12-hour shifts, I would stand there for 12 hours in one spot, and this machine would poop out like, basically they looked like this. They were like logs into a pan that had a heart shape, and half the time the logs were actually like bent, so they would come out like this in like a little C shape, and half the time they wouldn't be in the right spot, or two would come out in one pan and the one would have none. So I stood there for 12 hours a day rearranging these little logs into their pans. That was one of the jobs. Or I would move over to where we would work at the oven, where you're putting things in the oven for another hour, and then we would move to another spot. But it was horrible. I'm gonna try this biscuit. Cheddar garlic biscuit. It's so good. That's amazing. So the factory basically had its own culture. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever experienced. I was white, obviously, but I was a minority at the factory because there were so many Arabic people. Most of the people were Arabic. Some were Vietnamese, there were some from China, so like there was a lot of different cultures, and some people barely spoke any English. And there was people that literally spoke zero English. It was interesting. There were some Jamaicans, but the majority of people were Arabic. And they were creepy as fuck. So creepy. Oh my god. I warmed this up, so it's a little bit warm still. Any day now. So yeah, lots of Arabic people. There was a lot of like older married Arabic men that were clearly married. They would still hit on you. They were just disgusting. I worked on obviously the Danish line. There was a line behind us called the McGriddle line where they made McGriddle, the buns. There was one really big creep who ran that line, Arabic, married, disgusting, and he would come and hit on me and like maybe a few other people. And the one time I didn't even see him coming, he just came up behind me and tried to feed me chocolate chips. Like, he was so creepy. He would always be like asking me if I wanted to go to McDonald's with him after and go for coffee. Ugh. That is not the guy who I filed harassment for. So the guy that I filed harassment for, I'm gonna call him McCreepy. So McCreepy, he was more of a quiet person. He was older, he was like 40. He had a wife and he had 2 daughters, I believe 2 daughters. They were younger, they were like, I think 5 and 6 or something like that. So 2 young daughters. Yeah, and he was kind of quiet. Like, he would talk to you. Like, I actually had to start talking to him. I don't think I talked to him for the first like 3 weeks I was there. He was just so quiet. He didn't really like initiate conversation, but you're stuck on a line, like sometimes literally just facing somebody for 3 hours. If you don't talk to them, it's really weird. So at one point I think I was stuck at the oven with him and I just started talking to him about like Arabic shit or something. And he would try to teach me like Arabic stuff. Anyway, we kind of got more comfortable with each other, and we would kind of like joke around. I have a sick sense of humor anyway, so we would joke around about like inappropriate things. I don't know. You know what I mean if you have a sick sense of humor. Just like making sick jokes. And he would teach me like bad words in Arabic and stuff like that. Okay, I have so many different types of cookies. These are like little lemon cakes. I love lemon cake. Very good. Very, very good. Anyway, we would joke around and make jokes and shit like that, but I'm just gonna read what I actually wrote in my report. So in my report, I wrote about five separate incidences. I'm gonna read about incident number 1, and then I'll try some more desserts. Incident number 1. McCreepy and I were on the line stamping cookies and chatting. So we had these big cookies that you can get at Domino's. They were the shittiest thing to make because you just have this like this big white plate looking thing and then you attach like a handle to it and you had to stand there and stamp cookies. And it was a pain in the ass because some people couldn't do it. So if you could do it, you were there literally all day. And I could do it. Good for me. So I was stamping cookies for like 8 hours sometimes. And your shoulder would hurt. It messed up my friend's shoulder and it was just horrible. Anyway, and yeah, if they were like, if you pushed them too hard, you ruined the cookie. If you pushed it and like the cookie didn't evenly distribute in the pan, you ruined it. It just sucked. So anyway, so McCreepy and I were on the line. We were stamping these cookies and chatting. I can't recall the conversation that led to this point, but he began asking if I wanted to go for drinks. And at this time, I didn't really think that he was being creepy. I just thought he was trying to like be a friend. And I wrote that, okay. At this point, I believed he was asking as a friend because he has a wife and 3 children. Okay, so apparently he has 3 children. And he knew I had a boyfriend. I told him that I do not really drink and that I don't have time off from working 2 jobs. Because I was working here and at my other job in Guelph still. I said the conversation then progressed to a discussion about McCreepy being sexy. Sexy, I put in quotations. I was confused at the start because he was saying he went to the doctor for it, but he kept on saying how sexy he was. So yeah, he was telling me he went to the doctor because he was so sexy. I didn't really know what he was talking about. He asked me if I was sexy, and I responded with, I don't know, I guess. I later realized that sexy meant having sex to him, because he said that sometimes he was sexy 4 times a day, and similar comments. I felt very uncomfortable, but I could not leave the line. He then started telling me that if I ever wanted to be sexy with him, that we could go for drinks and I could call him. At this point, I said to him, "You know I have a boyfriend, right?" "Yes, I know you've told me before," he replied. I told him that I was not interested, to which he replied, "Yes, but after a few drinks you might be." I said, "Don't hold your breath," but I don't think he understood the expression, because he's Arabic. After a few minutes of me rejecting his offers of sex, I changed the topic to what would happen if his wife were to talk to other men in this way. And that's all I wrote in the incident. But he told me, I remember this, he told me that if he was at a bar with his wife and his wife even talked to a guy, whether they were talking about something inappropriate or not, he would like literally dump her, like break up with her, if his wife was even talking to a guy. And I think he said if he was in his country, he would probably kill the guy. Like, I don't think he was kidding. I think he was serious. He would literally like shoot the guy. So it was fucked up though. I was like, okay, like this is inappropriate. You're married. You're creeping me the fuck out. And I couldn't even leave the line. Like I literally couldn't leave. But anyway, I changed the topic as quick as I could because I don't want to talk about having sex with some 40-year-old who has a wife and 3 kids. Like, no thank you. I'm gonna try, okay, this is peanut butter cookies, and then I stuffed it with my cream cheese icing. Who else has been baking non-stop? Like, we've baked so much so far. Cream cheese icing makes everything better. I brought extra just in case. There was something too that I didn't write in the incident report. I don't really know like the timeline of it, but I think it happened after this incident. Maybe before, I can't remember. But I remember one time we were in the break room, just me and McCreepy, and he was showing me this app that he had on his phone where it needed a password to open it. So he was showing me how his wife could never open it because it needed a password and she didn't know the password. And once you open it, it wasn't what the app appeared to be. Like, I think it looked like a game app or something, but it was actually just a bunch of photos. And it was where he saved photos of this other girl had sent to him that used to work at the factory. And it was just like a bunch of photos of her and her like butt. There weren't any nude photos that I remember, but it was just like a bunch of sexy photos that she had sent to him. So he had them saved in this secret like app so he could get away with cheating on his wife and being a complete fucking creep. So this is like got an Oreo on the bottom, and then it has like a cream cheese Oreo top and then topped with chocolate. It's good. I've had one before. Yum. Okay, so I'm gonna read incident number 2 and 3. I combined them, I guess, so they must have been like related. I was on the line and I do not recall what exactly I was doing, but I believe I was putting brownies in the oven. I saw McCreepy approach Kathy, a colleague who works on the Danish line. I did not think anything of this, as McCreepy would often approach us and chit-chat. After he left her, she came over to me and said, this is so gross, and said, "Oh my god, you will not believe what McCreepy just said to me." I was like, "Oh god, what?" I replied. "He said to me about you." Oh, I can't read that. That's so gross. Oh. I forgot he said this. This is so disgusting. This is why I made Kyle go in the other room, because I knew he would want to hear it. Okay. "He said to me about you that he wants to make your white pussy red, like bleed or something," said Kathy. "That's disgusting," I replied, stunned that he would say such filthy things. Kathy and I exchanged a few more comments about the gross comment, and she returned to the line. This same occurrence and comment happened a second time when I was sorting cookies on the icing conveyor. Kathy ran over to me and said, "He said it again." "What?" I asked. "How he wants to turn your white pussy red," replied Kathy. That is so disgusting. I might not put that in because I don't think people need to hear that. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, I have 2 different types of cookies. I think I'm gonna only eat the one because I'm getting kind of full. This is very filling. This one has like butterscotch chips, and then this one Cosmo made. It's just a chocolate chip cookie, but I don't know what she did to these. They're so good. So I think I'm just gonna have this one, and then as much fettuccine as I can. It's so good. Icing. Hold on. Okay. I need that recipe. I don't know what she did to those cookies, but they're fucking amazing. In incident number 4, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just about numerous times that I would see McCreepy go over to a couple people online and slap their butts. And I said that sometimes he would use his hand. And then once I saw him using a scoop that we normally use for our chocolate chips. And even after one of the people told him to stop, he still continued to slap their butts. So that wasn't anything crazy compared to the thing I just read. Gross. And the last incident. Okay, so the last incident number 5, I wrote that I was on the line speaking with a lady from our temp agency. So sometimes sometimes if people call in sick or we don't have enough staff, we have people from the temp agency come and just fill in spots. So I was speaking with a lady from the temp agency, and she was a younger girl. It was her first day at the factory. So we were just chatting about the job, where we were from, places we lived, and all sorts of things. She was really nice. I really liked her. And then McCreepy came over and asked her to go to a different conveyor. So he send someone else for a break. So he sent her away from me. And then after the lady had left, I told McCreepy, I like her, she's nice, like she's just a nice lady. And he immediately said, "Yes, she has a nice ass. Very big from too much fucking." I didn't know how to respond, so I just said, "That's not true." He did not understand me, so I said this a few times and added, "I meant that she's nice to talk to." After this, he started talking about her lips and proceeded to make a kissing face and noises, and then he left shortly after. So yeah, just a fucking creep, like in all ways. So those were like the 5 incidences that I wrote about. I'm sure there were many more with other people that nobody ever talked about, but nobody liked this guy. He was such a dick, complete asshole, like all the way around. I was gonna let all of his creepiness go. Like I was just gonna pretend that it never happened, but he did something completely. There was a different occasion I remember where I think I was stamping cookies and I was getting so sore and I yelled at him to like move me because he had the authority to like move people to different lines. So I told him to come cover for me, but I don't think he did. And it was just an awful day because there was something squeaking on my line and it was driving me insane, and I had to listen to it for 2 fucking hours. So yeah, I remember I was sick of listening to that squeaking. I was sick of pressing cookies. So I asked to be moved, but didn't move me. I don't think he heard me or whatever. And then finally we shut the line down, so because something needed to be fixed, and we all went for a break. And on my way out of our line, I yelled at him, saying like, why didn't you move me? I asked you to move me like an hour ago, something like that. Like I yelled at him, and then he got mad because I was yelling at him, and he yelled at me for something. Everyone on my line likes me more than they liked him, so they were all kind of on my side. So everyone was kind of walking with me. So we started all walking out, and he came and yelled at me, and then I remember I just like gave him the finger and was like, fuck you, or like go fuck yourself or something like that. And then I guess that really pissed him off. So he went and told on me for giving him the finger. After he told on me, I got like a talking to by my supervisor. It was kind of funny though, because like my supervisor knows that someone said his name, that McCreepy was a complete asshole. So he was like, he told me that I should apologize to him for giving him the finger, but he basically implied like, he probably deserved it, I know, but you should probably apologize, something. He said like that kind of tone. After that happened, that's when I decided, I was like, fuck this guy. If he thinks he's gonna tattle on me for me giving him the finger after all the shit that he's done, like he has another thing coming. So it was after that I decided to take him to HR and get him in trouble for things that actually need to be, you know, people getting in trouble for, rather than me giving him the finger, like go fuck yourself. So yeah, he tattled on me. I wrote up this big report of all the sexual harassment that he did to me, and I gave that to HR, and then it took a couple weeks for them to like interview people and process it. And I was sure that he was gonna get fired, but he didn't. He got like a 2-week suspension from work, so he basically couldn't come to work for 2 weeks. And then after that, he just came back and it was like nothing fucking happened. It was so awkward though, because like he knew, like everybody knew that it was me. Actually, I don't know if everybody knew, but I think it was pretty obvious that it was either me or like one of the other girls that wrote the report. So it was just like super awkward. Like he wouldn't talk to me, which is perfectly fine by me. I didn't care. I don't want to talk to him. But yeah, that happened. And then I think like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I quit the factory because it was horrible. I got like so fed up with the factory that I didn't even call in sick. I just didn't show up one day because I had a job interview for the place I work now. I literally didn't show up for my shift, and I went to this other job interview, and I got this job that same day. And I had a $200 like steel toe boot allowance from my other job, like from the factory, and I bought like $200 brand new boots. Took the receipt, went to the factory, gave them the receipt so that they could pay me for my new boots for my other job. And then, I'm so bad. And then I told them that I was taking a vacation, so I took 2 weeks vacation at the factory, so they continued to pay me for 2 weeks. And then, this is so bad. Meanwhile, I started working at this other job at the road closure job that I still have right now. So I started working doing road closures, and yeah, after my vacation I just never showed up. Fuck them. Like that was horrible.
This is Val. I'm editing right now watching this. Yeah, while I'm editing this, I'll also throw in that before I sound like a terrible person for doing this to the factory, when I didn't show up for my shift and went to my job interview, they didn't even realize that I was gone. That's how horrible the factory is. They didn't even realize that I didn't show up that day.
Yeah.
They didn't realize I wasn't there.
That kind of concludes my whole sexual harassment at the factory. Like I'm 100% sure There was a lot more stories about the factory I could tell, but it was just too much for one video. But that place was crazy, like crazy. People were, it was just its own, like, that whole factory, that whole job had its own like personality. It was just a crazy time. So if there's one thing to be learnt about Val, it's that she is not afraid to fight back. If you are in the wrong or you've done something that I can get you for and like you piss me off, you better believe like I'm fucking coming for you. Like I will not hold back. So that is one thing you can guarantee from me. Anywho, I think I am full, so I'm gonna wrap this up. So thank you guys very much for watching. Comment down below and let me know what you think. I hope you guys had a great Easter, and I will see you all very soon.